Let's talk about working with phone numbers. Aside from the standard options of usernames and user IDs, phone numbers are another option you have to work with. On the left side menu, you'll find the phone numbers category, and there you'll see 3 modules: number checker, invite by numbers, and send to numbers. Let's look at the number checker first. Before working with a set of phone numbers, you can check them beforehand. Why would you want to? Well, to acquire more information about these phone numbers. Things like the date of entry, whether or not they're already on Telegram. In other words, if they're even worth working with at all. You can later sort your numbers out based on the date at which they came online. This module gives you a lot of options. And it is also very adaptable, as it can read phone numbers with all kinds of extra stuff there. Parentheses, dashes, all of that stuff the program will disregard when formatting the numbers. For example, here I have a bunch of phone numbers, and you see here that they're all in different formats. The one thing you'll have to take out is a plus if your phone number has a country code attached, but it will accept the country code and understand it. Everything else you can have in there, spaces, punctuation marks, all that stuff, because the program is just going to read it correctly and sort it properly once it's done. You also have the option to use base data if you already have an existing database ready to go. When you run this program, if you just put the numbers in the list, it will make a database for you at the end of it, which you can then reuse over and over again down the line. Now we have to set everything up, starting with the number of requests per account. I'm going to set it at 5. The current limit for phone number checks off a single account in 24 hours is 30, or approximately 30. Of course, you can test it on your own accounts, but if that limit will be reached, then even if the phone number is available and exists on Telegram, the program will fail to find it. Which is why I would recommend that you take the safest route, which would be to take 10 of your accounts and assign 5 numbers to each of them, so that you make sure that you find all the numbers you're looking for. Of course, you could go even safer and check, for example, 10 numbers off one account once every 2 hours, or you could do them all at once with one account and do 20 numbers. But that's where I think I would draw the line. No more than 20. Next up is delay between requests. The default is usually 5 to 10 seconds. I have it set here from 2 to 4, but honestly, if you do 5 to 7, that should suit you just fine. And then the standard wait time for flood wait. Now we're going to choose our accounts, and then we need to make sure to click Query first name, last name, and bio so that this information will become available to us in the database. And we also want to click Determine Sex so that when the database is made, each phone number will have a sex assigned to it as well. And this module also supports thread management. So when you're in the future dealing with 200, 300 accounts checking phone numbers simultaneously, this will allow you to stem the flow and make it a bit more manageable. We don't need to do it now, but you can if you want to. Now we're going to launch the program. And we see that it's making a database for us. Though keep in mind, this first one is just the base file. This is just the one with the phone numbers. It's not going to have all the extra information. That's going to be in the result file, the second one. But you see that the program is fixing all of the phone numbers, and you see it keeps saying user found, so everything's working according to plan. And there it is, task complete. Now we're going to open up the results database. Click on Users and then Data. And we see that all 5 phone numbers now have all kinds of info attached to them. We have all kinds of data on them now. We now know their statuses, their gender, whether or not they have a photo, and even the last time that they were online. If we want to check any of this, we can actually go through our desktop client. Here, let me show you. So we can take, for example, the first username on the list and put it into the search bar of the client. And then we find the user, and then we can compare the info here with the info in the database. We see that it's the same. We could do the same thing with the next one. And there we go. See? All the information is one-to-one. And now that we have made this database, you can then plug this into future tasks, or you can work off of a list of phone numbers again if you wish. So as mentioned before, this module is used to check the phone numbers, but an interesting quirk is that for best results, it's best to use different accounts for this task, as in to use one set of accounts to check the phone numbers, but different accounts to do the rest of the tasks with them. So you should set some accounts aside just for phone checking purposes. The other two modules here, invite by numbers and send to numbers, work exactly the same way as every other invite and send module. The only major difference being this one option here, query first name, last name, bio. This is very useful for in case you decide not to check the phone numbers, you can still get the program to request that information from those phone numbers when using them in these other two tasks. So when these tasks are complete and you will have that final database at the end of it, that database will also have all that additional information written in there. Of course, you don't have to click it if you don't want to. If you don't, then the program will just execute the task as instructed without acquiring that additional information. Regarding limits, when sending to numbers, the limits are the same as when checking for numbers. So no more than 30 per account is recommended. That's the maximum amount that an account can process within 24 hours. As for how to distribute those, that's entirely up to you. For example, you can work with 15 numbers in the morning and then 15 more in the evening. It's entirely up to you. But the safest way to do it is still to do 5 numbers at a time per account as a test. So you go to Number Checker, type in 5 requests per account, pick 10 accounts, and then get your whole list of phone numbers. Run the program, and then you'll have your database with all the extra info if you want. And then you pick out a fresh account, set the limit to 25 now, and then run through your already existing database of numbers that you already know are on Telegram because you already checked them. This will tell you what the limit is, because if on this second check, let's say 20 of the numbers are fine but 5 of them are not, you'll know that the limit is 20, because you know those other 5 do also exist, but you've reached the limit at which the account can check for more numbers. And that's all you need to know about working with phone numbers. For additional information on invite and send, you can watch our additional videos that cover those topics, and then just apply them to these modules.